everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. This is your tip of the week, and again it's all about machine applique. I'm going to show you a technique that I used to do 20 years ago, and it's how I first started doing machine applique. There's no fusible web involved, so what you're going to need to do this is you're going to need 4 squares of fabric, any size really. You're going to need some background fabric that you're going to put your shape onto, some lightweight interfacing, doesn't have to be fusible, just lightweight interfacing, and then some type of a heart shape, something you either draw yourself or if you have heart-shaped templates. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use these 4 squares in the actual heart. So you're first going to stitch them together. So take 2 of them, and I like using 4 different colors in this. Stitch them together 1/4 inch seam and press them. And press the seam going this way. Then take one and flip it so that the seam is going in the opposite direction of each other. Then I'm going to just turn this over. Now you're going to bring them on top of each other and place a pin where your seam comes together. And you want the seam on top to go in the opposite direction and the seam on the bottom. Then stitch 1/4 inch seam along here. After stitching a 1/4 inch seam across here, then go ahead and press it on the back side. Then unfold and press it on top, and try to have the seam, this one right here, all going in one direction, either left or right or up and down. You just want it very smooth along there. So just set it aside. Now take your interfacing, and I'm going to turn it over, and you can see that I have traced a heart shape on it. So in order to do that, you just put it down on your interfacing. Remember, use lightweight interfacing, and then just trace around it. Then you want to take your 4 squares here, and this is where it gets to be fun. You can lay your heart shape out in any direction you want. You can make it look funky, one piece of fabric showing more than the other. They can look really scrappy patch. So I'm just going to put it like this. The one thing I didn't want to do was have these seams here in this point or in here. So that's you want to make sure of. Then go ahead and take some straight pins and pin it down. Like this. Place pins all around because you don't want this interfacing to move. Now you're going to stitch right on your drawn lines, right on top of the drawn line. And make sure when you put this interfacing down that the pretty side of your fabric is looking up at you. Okay, that's real important. Want it looking up at you. Then, after you've stitched, you're going to cut about 1/4 inch on the outside of your heart shape. So now it's going to look like this. Now you want to do little clips around all curved areas, which is most of this heart. So now remember, I'm showing you a heart, but you can make any shape you want. A circle, a square, a flower, whatever you want to make, and just continue clipping around. Now, right in here at this part of the heart, you want to clip straight in and take a little bit off on each side of this so that you don't have all this fabric getting real bulky in there. All right, and then at the point down here, you want to cut across this way, and you want to take some of the bulk off down here. Now this is the tricky part. Take a hold of just the interfacing, pull the fabric away, and then cut a little slit. And then cut a bigger hole. Well, I didn't get it, almost. Open it up. All right, got it this time. Now cut a little bit bigger hole. You don't have to worry about this showing. No one is going to see this. Now turn it front side out. Like this. And reach inside and smooth out all of your edges. After you've got all your edges pushed out, then go to your ironing board and press this flat. And you might have to kind of use your fingers to roll the edges so that it all comes out nice and flat. So here's your heart shape, and it looks like it's just a bunch of scrap patches put together. Here's the background fabric, and this is the front side, the pretty side of my background fabric. And I'm just going to place it on there. So this is a nice pattern for a quilt. If you want to get started in making a quilt, start a baby quilt and put little hearts all over it. So center it on there, then take your pins again and pin it down. I like using a lot of pins because I don't like my fabric to shift when I'm stitching, because it can do that, especially this, because there's nothing gluing it down. All right. So now you're going to go to your sewing machine and you're going to do just a little zigzag stitch around the edge. So you don't need a fancy decorative stitching. You can do a nice decorative stitching if you want, but just a simple zigzag stitch. You can use just white, especially if you're using light colors, or you can use any of these colors that are in your design. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and show you how to do it. One of the things that'll help you so that you can see better is to use an open toe presser foot. So when I lower my needle down, I can see the needle. There's nothing in front of it. So that will really help you. So just center the edge of your heart right in the center of your presser foot. And I'm just going to do a little locking stitch right here before I start doing my zigzag stitch. So when you're doing the zigzag stitch, you want to catch the background fabric when it goes over the edge, and then when it goes back over, you want to catch the fabric of the heart. And so just go ahead, and I just have it on a small zigzag. I don't have it real tight. And then just stitch around it. When you are stitching around corners, or curves I mean, you want to just go kind of slow. If you don't have a machine where the presser foot automatically comes up when you stop, like mine does, I have it set to where the presser foot comes up every time I stop. Then it's easy to turn. If your sewing machine doesn't do that, then lift your presser foot manually and turn your fabric, and then continue stitching. And you would just keep going around like this. And these are really fun to do. They're quick, it's inexpensive, you don't have to worry about buying the fusible web. After I'm done with any kind of quilt block, even if it's machine applique, I'll go to the ironing board and do a final pressing, and I'll press it flat. So as I said earlier, you could make a really cute little baby quilt just using this. You can also use the quilt as you go method, putting these blocks into that type of quilt. It's a real easy beginner's type of quilting process. So there will be a link listed below your YouTube screen for a quilt as you go project. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. And again, I really hope that this tip of the week inspires you to try machine applique. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.